So if you like to watch a channel like mine, you probably love watching videos on investing and probably like watching internet marketers talk about their Lambos and things like that. But wouldn't you say something is missing from the discussion? Well, if you said yes, I'd agree with you. The question is, how do you get the money to invest big time and really make big moves? Whether it be through the stock market or any other avenue. Well, it's pretty simple actually. It's not easy, but it's simple. We'll talk about that on this episode of BTP Fusion. What's up, you guys? You're watching BTP Fusion, and I'm your host, Derek West. On BTP Fusion, it's our mission to inspire you to take action on your business and finance using the power of technology. Help us in our journey by smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm and let us know what you think in the comments down below. But let's dive right into the content of the video, shall we? So investing is nothing if it's not interesting. Am I right? When times are good, you get to watch your money grow and transform and give you options that you never thought were possible. When markets swing downwards, as in today's climate, it gives you a rush and it tests your constitution and ability to weather the storm. What can be said, though, is that it's never a dull moment. But what if you're just starting out and you have no money to invest? Or maybe you've been working for a while and you just can't find the money in your budget. Maybe you want to invest, but it's just not a priority for you at this time. Do you have to be left out of all the fun? The answer to that question is a resounding no. You have two distinct ways to get the money to get in on the action and enjoy the highs and lows, just like the rest of us. Your two courses of action are essentially divided up by the time scale with which you want to start investing, near term or short term. Now, this is different than your investment horizon. You should always be looking to invest long term, unless you're a day trader. And those guys hate themselves. But I would say that if you're thinking of turning $500 into $500,000 over a week or maybe even a month, you're probably looking at the wrong investment vehicle. You should try the lottery. You'd have a much better chance of turning $500 into $500,000 in a week or a month by buying $500 worth of lottery tickets. And that's to say you'd have no chance at all. No, I'm instead talking about when you want to start investing. Like if you want to start investing right now or in a few months or years. Let's talk about the long-term plan of action first to really increase your investment ability. And don't worry, they're not mutually exclusive. So you can execute both plans of action if you so desire, both the long-term and the short-term plan of action. But if you're thinking long-term, which you should be, you need to understand the order of operations of wealth creation. Wealth creation is really a series of steps that you can execute. If you're starting from nothing and you want to go the slow and steady way, then you want to A, get a skill. B, be the best at what you do. C, save an emergency fund. D, invest the rest. E, profit. So getting a skill that pays money. There's no two ways about it. Flipping burgers at Burger King is not going to get you the money you need to build wealth. You'll barely be able to live off that kind of work. In fact, most studies say that you cannot live off that salary. I would contend a little differently, however, but I'll defer to the experts on that one for this video. What is for darn sure is that you cannot build wealth on that kind of salary. You need to get a skill that people are willing to pay top dollar for. Now, that is not an easy thing to do, but that's one of the reasons why people who do it get paid more, specifically because what they're doing is not easy. Keep in mind that doing difficult things doesn't necessarily translate into high-paying careers. As an example, eating scorpions is difficult to do. Standing in one place staring at paint dry is also difficult to do. Neither one is great for generating income. So you have to find the intersection between things that are difficult to do and things that also pay a ton and things that are in your aptitude wheelhouse. In other words, high-value skills. There are any number of high-value skills out there for people with all types of aptitudes and interests. I'll just list a couple of them right here. Starting with your aptitudes, are you good at math? Great. You have all kinds of options. Engineering, computer science, software engineering, accounting, business in general, finance. Your options are pretty wide open. But Derek, I'm not good at math. Well, if you're not good with math, but instead you really slay with the written and or spoken word, don't worry, you don't have to be left out of the big money game. you can be part of some of the largest growing and highest paying fields that there are. Writing copy, that is, creating content for advertisements that help to sell products. You can either work for a company that pays you to do that, or you can hire yourself out as a freelancer, or you can even learn to sell your own products with that skill. That skill is really part of a larger, more complex niche. That niche being marketing and advertising. Internet marketing in particular is huge and will probably be the biggest niche for newcomers for the next 20 years or so. Advertisement in general will always be growing. So long as there are people on earth, there will always be the need to get the message out to them and to convince them to buy a product. Communications. Do you have a great voice? Or can you write really well and in a convincing manner? Well, communications might be the thing for you. Depending on the venue that you choose, you could really make significant bank with this option. Content creation. So kind of a combination of all of the above. Content creation is the creation of content for the consumption of folks, mostly on social media, but it really could include any platform. The idea is to keep people entertained enough that they are willing to stick through the commercials long enough to see the resolution of whatever content you're creating. If you can do that, advertisers are willing to pay almost an unlimited amount of cash to get their products in front of your audience. But all these are some of the biggest opportunities to make real money, 6 to 7 figures, that don't involve ever having to whip out a scientific calculator. But the biggest money opportunity for you, if you have no math background or affinity, is sales. If you get good at sales, the sky is literally the limit. And I'm not talking about figuratively the limit, I'm talking about literally the limit. Can you sell spots on Elon Musk's rocket ship? When people talk about being real estate agents, they're really talking about selling real estate. And selling real estate is one of the best ways to generate income, in that the product that you're selling is typically very high in price. And therefore, the commission that you get out of the sale is also quite high. Now, real estate isn't the only game in town. There are other things that you can sell as well. Software sales is a little bit of an underrated avenue. That is to say, enterprise software sales. Selling software packages and software as a service to a large enterprise and companies can be quite lucrative, as the price for those sorts of things tend to be quite large as well. So naturally, your commissions will tend to be large too. I think a key sidebar here is to understand that you don't have to get a college degree to get any of these skills. Udemy, Skillsoft, or any of those other online learning avenues is quite fine for acquiring these skills. And once you learn the skills, you can begin putting them to practice and getting experience using them on gig sites like Upwork or Fiverr. But once you figure out what your path to real cash is, then you become the best at what you do. In other words, after you figure out what skills you're focused on acquiring, and you've acquired them, and you start getting experience, the next thing is to focus on being the top dog in your field. Now, there's so much competition out there, you're probably not going to be the best at what you do right away. You might only be the best for a short period of time, or you may never be the best, but you may find yourself in the discussion as being one of the best. Or maybe you never sniffed that discussion either. In any case, you want to be in a position where you're striving to be the best in your field so you can justify being paid the best in your field. Now that is going to take time and continued education. Another quick sidebar. One of my problems with traditional college education is that it gives the false impression that once you have a diploma, you know all you'll ever need to know to be a successful individual, which is 100% wrong. Once you have that diploma, if you get a diploma, you're just getting started. And learning and honing your craft is key to really being the best of the best. If you continue along your path of learning and mastering your craft, then you have leverage to be among the best paid at what you do. So when the time is right, you can ask for a raise from your boss or raise your price to your clients. When you do that, what you're saying is, my time is worth this much to me. If you're not willing to pay that, then I'm going to have to move on to someone who will. Once you're getting the money you deserve, or in other words, you're maximizing your first flow, then you need to save an emergency fund. So this part is important as it provides a buffer for you to be confident in your investments during times when markets and economies go south. But technically, you can start doing this after you've acquired a skill and are putting it to good use and are getting paid while you're en route to being among the best paid in your field. You don't have to do it when you become the best or top paid in your field. In fact, that's probably too late in the game. You should be saving up your emergency fund the second you start making money. But the point is to just save up. And no, there is no right answer for what that amount should be. Is it 6 months' salary? Is it 6 months of your needs-based spending? Is it 1 year's salary? 2 years' salary? They're all good numbers to hit and have saved up, to be frank. Just pick one that you feel comfortable with and get as close to it as possible before you start investing any money. Any big money, that is. Trust me, it'll give you so much confidence when markets go south that you'll be calm and collected while everyone else has their hair on fire trying to sell before their investments go to zero. Speaking of investments, now you can invest large chunks and sums of money and at the same time be confident, which is really the most important part of investing. If you've acquired a skill that people want and desire, and you have cash saved over for emergencies, recessions, losses of jobs, things like that, now you're in a place to make investments with money that you have left over. Typically, once you've saved your emergency fund, you would direct what you're saving into your investments. And that, my friends, is the wealth acquisitions order of operation. Understanding and taking action on that is the long-term plan of action to get the money you need to invest. What about short term? What if you want to invest right now? Well, this one is actually quite easy. You can use apps like Acorn or others like it to invest the change from everyday purchases that you make and put them into index funds and other low entry fee investments. Even apps like Robinhood, issues staying up on leap years notwithstanding, and Wealthfront have options for this. If I'm not mistaken, so does Charles Schwab. They all can help you to begin investing small chunks or leftover change, what you have lying around. Now, investing that way will not make you rich, but it is a great way to get started if you're new to the world of investments. Speaking of being new, if you're new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe and click that notification bell. We have more great content like this coming. And don't forget to comment down below to keep the conversation going. And remember, a goal without a plan is a wish. A goal with a plan and no action is a wish list. Take action on your finances and business using the power of technology. And we'll see you next time. Peace.